Good afternoon, students. Uh, Continuing with dear Mr. Kilmer and finishing it today. If you recollect, in our last chapter, chapter 9, we said how we realized Richard Knight was on his way to the post office to post a letter, as usual to Joyce Kilmer, his mentor, the poet. On his way, as I said, he had to pass Hannah's house to go to the post office. And she shouted out to him and called him because there was some shocking news that she wants to show. And there she showed in another newspaper headlines titled Famous American and beloved poet killed in battle. This is the shocking news. As we know, Joyce Kilmer is now serving in France. He is a surgeon now, Sergeant Joyce Kilmer. And during their operations in battle, as they are going around, the fight is still going on. German soldiers are hiding in the hills, and during the operation, he was shot and killed. Of course, this news left Richard Knight speechless, dumbfounded. He cannot believe what has happened to his idol, and he ran as far as possible to the tree. He wanted to be alone, and in fact, on the verge of telling, there's no more writing poems. In fact, he asked himself, is there anything poems or even poets do to bring peace, to stop all this war? Okay, and so that. However, as he rebuilds himself, comes back to his senses, he goes back, and when he meets the Kilmer family, they encourage him and advise him and tell him that Joyce Kilmer always wanted him and encouraged him to continue writing poems. So with that in mind, he decided to write a poem titled In Memory of Sergeant Joyce Kilmer. And they even encourage him to post it so that to go to the local newspaper, the Turtle Lake Weekly. It's a local newspaper. Okay, and then he posts just the first time he's writing and sending to this newspaper, right? And so he's very upset and disturbed, and he goes, what happened next is this newspaper is out every Tuesday, and he was passed by. His father was holding the newspaper, and he didn't want to see him because he knows his father does not like him to write poems, wants him to focus more on the farm, and his father is not a person who does open himself or communicate much. However, as he went to, his father followed him to the room, showing the newspaper, and even showed him the article that he wrote, which was published in the local newspaper. And his father was not angry, rather he was very calm, with a nice pleasant look, and told him he was shocked by the word that was written was in the poem was, a world is dead and gone. This was Richard Knight's way of remembering Joyce Kilmer. But what touched Pa, his father, was that this was the same words that he was keeping to himself for so many years. Now we can realize why Pa did not open himself. He always remembered his brother. he was hurt when his brother was killed in war. There was just a short article saying there were some American casualties, and he was very hurt that they referred to his brother who was killed as an ordinary casualty amongst, because for him his brother was part of his world, a world, part of his life, and these words touched him. He was shocked that his son was able to use these words that was inside him all this while. And that's why he at last opened himself, and I think he finally come to accept that his son likes to write poems. Okay, and so with that situation, slowly, gradually, the war comes to an end, or came to an end. Started in 1917, around February or March, now it's November. So the whole duration of this story, dear Mr. Kilmer, is 1.5 years plus. And how does it end? When the war ends, Gus and Otto do not have to engage in war. Okay. Gus comes back. That is another good news for Pa. His son will not be involved in the war anymore. And they all have a very happy family reunion. Pa opens himself up, and basically it's a happy ending. Okay. When we have ended this story, I will be forwarding some model answers, and we have finished here, Mr. Kilmer. What are the most probable questions that you have to remember? Or do not forget the whole story about what are the moral values? Kindness. We must be fair to others. We must show love. The theme of determination is very, very vivid, clear in this story. Who was very determined? We all know. We go back to Richard Knight. And do not forget the important incidents and events, because when we write our answer, we must give evidence from the text. From the time they went shooting is an incident, an event. In school, many of the events that took place, the scribbling on the book Dirty Hand, when the tavern was vandalized, and in the war zone event, how Sergeant Joyce Kilmer described the war zone, the soldiers fighting in the trenches filled with rats, and the gutter children. What do you mean by gutter children? Go through all this. We have a lot of time to all this, and the characters. As long Richard Knight, we already have a lot of information about him, and not forgetting the evidence in the text. Sergeant Joyce Kilmer, how did he start? What is his background? He is not a young man to go for war, a father of 4 children. How he described the war zone, the battle zone, how the soldiers were frightened, the condition. All this correspondence. And Hannah Kilmer, American citizen, but they have German background. And you also have Mrs. Hanson. Know how she is. She's a nice character, teacher who teaches some good values to the student. What does she do? Do not forget events like the sympathy card, the bonds that she raised to support the soldiers, Liberty Bond, Doughboy. Okay, this is a time for you to go through. If you have any questions, queries, please do not hesitate to ask me in the group chat. Okay, you will see a lot of notes forward to you, and also some sample answers. You will be well equipped by the time we return for tuition. That's all for Joyce Kilmer. I consider we have chapter 1 to 10 we have completed. You should have a good picture. Do not hesitate to contact if you have any queries. Okay, see you soon in the next topic, which I plan to do report writing in our next class. Thank you.